Hello, everyone. Um, Welcome to my channel. Um, I've decided to change the name to Dream Queen versus the Infinite Spiritual Battle. So that's why there's a new name on the channel. The first three videos that I have posted are staying on. I am not removing them. So if you want to go ahead and look at those, you can go ahead and do so. If not, whatever. Anyways, I have been battling with not wanting to do this for quite some time. And unfortunately, I can't fight it anymore. I have to do it because I just have to. I honestly feel like this is something that God is asking me to do, so I'm going to do it. Now, with that in mind, if you have not looked at any of my other any of my other videos on this channel, anyways, my name is Perla, and I am not claiming to be anything. I am not claiming to be an astrologist or a future teller. I am not claiming to be of any religion or a prophet or anything like that. I am just simply myself, and the things that I'm going to share are things that I've had the privilege, which I did not realize at the time. And again, I apologize for my speech or whatever. Sometimes when my narcolepsy is out of hand, it affects my speech. Anyways, these are things that I've had since I was a child. Sorry. The earliest I can remember was probably around 4 or 5 years old when this all started. Unfortunately, and I apologize for the moving so much. I usually sit on a stability ball. It just helps me feel better or whatever. Anyways, so at a very young age, I started having dreams. I started seeing things. I started hearing things, and unfortunately, they weren't always well received. And as I grew, I knew the times that I tried to explain to people what was going on, it was also dismissed. Now, why am I sharing this? Because it brought me down a path that I feel was more challenging than anything else. So, because I identified myself based on what other people had told me about myself, I lost sight of who I was. I lost my identity. I was consumed by the definition of what other people assumed I was, or where these, what I call gifts, came from. Now, I read the Bible. I started reading the Bible back in 2004. It was like actually reading it. I have not read the entire Bible. There's only one book that I have read completely, which I read today, and that was Daniel. Anyways, among reading the Bible, I do read other books. Now, when I'm talking about things, first of all, half the time I'm not going to remember what I said, and second of all, a lot of the things are my opinion. Like I would always give my perspective on things. And now, with that being said, one of the one of the things that I want to talk about is just life in general. Why why is it that people do the things that they do? What leads people into, whatever it is that they choose to do? And I was sitting there and I was thinking, and I was like, and I was, I meditate a lot. And when I say meditate, is not what I guess I do traditional meditation, but as well, but to me, meditation can just be sitting down and just anywhere. I don't have to get into a trance or anything like that. I just literally sit down and I start talking to myself. And, I start thinking about things, and then I just quiet my mind down and I just listen. So one of the and again, this is not about a religion in general. These are verses or quotes or whatever comes that day. Today happens to be a verse from the Bible. And I'm pretty sure that it will probably be in other texts as well, just with a different meaning, different wording, I mean, but the same meaning. So the verse that I got today that I was looking into was Daniel 12:13. No, Daniel 12:3. Sorry for that. And it says, "Those who are wise will shine like the brightness of the heavens, and those who lead many to righteousness like the stars forever and ever." And it got me thinking about, what exactly does he mean by that? So I decided to read the entire chapter, because a verse by itself is not going to give you a full meaning or full understanding of what's going on. So I was like, let's just read the chapter and see what happens. So I read it, and I was reading about Daniel and, how, things that happen throughout the process. And if you haven't read it, honestly, it's actually a pretty good chapter. I actually really like it. Now, with that being said, I also go ahead and I look in the dictionary, and I'm like, okay, let's see what these words, certain words that were popping out to me exactly means. So with wise, is the meaning, obviously, it means to make or become informed or knowledgeable, or having or showing wisdom. Okay, so this is one of the topics that I've always wanted to talk about. And when people say that, you are aware or you're informed or you're wise or, things like that, it sometimes when we question certain things, certain religions and certain religious leaders do not like it. And what we have to understand is that as humans, we were given the choice of free will. Now, we can choose to follow something blindly without ever questioning it. Or we can choose to question, where is this coming from? Because you have to understand that whether we are talking about a specific religion or whether we are talking of future telling or anything like that, it does come, whatever you read is written by a person. It is an interpretation of either what the person believes, what the person claims to have seen, claims to have heard, or anything like that. So, to say that, and again, do not, please, I ask, take my words out of context. And with that, I am going to say I am responsible for what I am saying and not for what you understand. I am going to try my best to have you understand what I'm trying to say. Now, when people say, oh, the Bible, okay, I read the Bible. Yes, I believe in all of the things in the Bible. My thing is, what I want people to understand is that the Bible was not handwritten by God himself. The Bible is an interpretation of what people, because the Bible was put together by different people, what they believe or how they interpret what God said, showed them, or whatever the case may have been. So with that being said, we have to understand that if we are humans and we have free will, some of the things in the Bible can be, I don't want to say misleading, but could have been written, in a way to benefit a specific group or a specific person. I am not saying that the Bible is deceiving, but we also have to understand that it is an interpretation or from a person's perspective or people's perspective, okay? So with that, I always say, always try to get as much information as you can and always try to get knowledge from everything that you can. So I do have this really good book. It's called Bible Charts, Maps, and Timeline. And it's actually Rose book of Bible Charts, Maps, and Timeline. And I actually like it because of the fact that it shows some of the main religions and what they believe in and what they don't believe in. Now, my goal is to read different Bibles or different books that certain religions follow and try to find either connection or, excuse me, I have to sneeze. They think I have to sneeze. I think I'm scaring it off. Or disagreements that they have. Because in that way, we will be able to fully understand what stands as far as being real and what is not. Okay? The second word that stuck out to me was shine. So what is it to shine? To shine is to send out rays of light or brightness caused by emission or reflection of light. So, to shine. So basically my goal, when I was reading this, is like, okay, so I am not asking people to doubt their faith. I am just asking, or I guess wanting to bring to people's attention that we should not follow anything blindly, that we should always try, because wanting to get knowledge and wanting to understand something, it is not that you don't have faith in it. It is just, you just want understanding in certain things. And of course, not everything you're going to get understanding to or from or whatever, but you have to get to that understanding, if you get what I mean. But if you don't question anything, then how are you to get to an understanding that certain things you're not supposed to understand? I don't know if that makes any sense. Anyways, brightness means shedding much light. And to lead is to guide on the way or to show the way. And righteousness, it comes from the word righteous, and it means acting rightly. Now, what is acting rightly? Now, if we look into different religions and different beliefs, there are people that claim that, they follow God and they believe in this and they believe in that, but they are not open in their hearts when it comes to understanding or comes to accepting other people's beliefs. And that has always been something that has never made sense to me, because if we claim that God is love, let's sum it up in that way. That is my definition of what God is. He is love. Then how can we, as people that believe and love God and claim to worship him, how is it that we do what, you could use the word evil or bad things or whatever word you want to use, or sin in his name? Because any time that we think, speak, or act in any way that is not coming out of love, if you really look into any type of religion, then you are acting against God. You are acting against love. You're acting against everything that you supposedly stand for and believe in. And now none of us here in this earth are free of sin. Neither am I. Now, to come to the understanding of what love is, it is not this butterfly feeling that people expect to have for another person. It is about literally loving every single person, even the worst person that you can think of in the world. And a lot of us do not have that ability. A lot of us, including myself, I should say everybody, we judge. We judge without knowing. And even if you don't judge in a verbal way where you're actually saying it, you're judging in your mind, because a lot of us do. It is just, it has become second nature to us. So we have to come to a place where we become aware of the things that we are doing, of the things that we are thinking, and from there take it and try and change that. So what do I mean? If you're walking, you're at the store, you're food shopping or whatever, and you see somebody and, her shirt is so tight or this or this or that, you're not saying it verbally to the person, but you are thinking about it. So you're judging the person. So what do you have to do? You have to catch yourself making that judgment, and first of all, ask God for forgiveness, and then after that, you have to forgive yourself for judging, because you are in no position to judge another. The only person that you should be quote unquote judging, if you are, is yourself, is your actions, is your thoughts. And from there, I believe that then you can start to actually start doing things from love. And unfortunately, because of the way that we have been raised and the way that our society is like, people have a set, strong mindset that this is it and this is it. And if you don't believe in this and you don't do things this way, then you are not this, or you don't believe in this. And it's not like that. I believe in God, but just because I don't go to church every Sunday, just because I don't follow a certain religion, or because I am not knocking door to door on people's houses trying to impose my beliefs on somebody, does not mean that I do not believe in the same God that you do. It just means that I become aware of the fact that I cannot force anybody nor judge somebody because they choose to follow the same God that I'm following, just in a different way. And in order to really understand that, and I'm not throwing any shame on any religion or anything like that. I'm just giving examples of the things that I have noticed and I've become aware of. And I personally had decided to stop going to church in general because I have what I guess you call visions. I don't want to say so much like interpret dreams, because my dreams do not come in a sense, most of the time they don't come in a sense of other things other than what exactly what's going to happen. I can sit down and all of a sudden I'm seeing, it's kind of like movie clips in my head, and I've had this ability since I was a child. I can see it just sounds like it doesn't sound funny, but I have the ability, I guess, is what they call a medium, somebody that can speak to the dead. Wow, I finally said that out loud. The first time I was visited, I was about 7 or 8 years old, and I was terrified. I was not exactly sure what was going on or anything like that. And so I am able to, there's a lot underneath, there's a lot more that I'm able to do. And the times that I have spoken about it, people just kind of like not dismiss it, but tell me that it's coming from a place of evil. And I, for so long, fought myself from not allowing that to come up. I suppressed it. And unfortunately, that led me down a path of resentment, anger, and eventually it started affecting my body in a physical way, because I was not being truthful to who I was. I was acting and pretending to be somebody that I wasn't. And it broke me. I don't know if when people say, like, oh, I hit rock bottom. I mean, I hit rock bottom, and not once, a couple of times. And every time that I would think, okay, I can get up and pick myself up, and it's like, okay, but this is, and it's like that voice, like, this is what I want you to do. And it's like, how many times do I have to put you, not, I shouldn't say that, not how many times do I have to put you, how many times do I have to tell you and show you what it is that I want you to do before you actually do it. Like, do not fear what other people are going to say. Do not fear the judgment of others. Follow what I'm asking you to do. So, again, I fought it for a very long time. I would hide, I would cry, I would just kind of like, I am not the person for this. I am not the person to go out there and speak about all these things that you want me to speak about. And because I'm not just going to speak about the good and the nice, I'm going to talk about the things that people do not want to talk about, the occult, those types of things, that unfortunately are still taboo in our world. But in order to believe in God and in order to have faith in Him, you do have to understand that there is two sides to every story. There are two different aspects of, this that we're battling. There is, God, and there is Lucifer, the devil. And a lot of people try to stay away from talking about it because of what other people are going to think about it. There are, on a daily, second by second moments, there are warfares, spiritual warfares that are going on that, again, people do not like speaking about. There are people like myself that are fighting these spiritual warfares that do not speak about it because of the fact that they don't want people to feel, they don't want to feel like people are thinking that they're crazy and things like that. But when you have these these gifts that God gives you, they're not given to you to stay dormant. They're not given to you to suppress. They're given to you for use so that you can help humanity, so that you can help people in general. And that, unfortunately, when some of us are not brought up in a community or a family that accept that in you, then it becomes more of a challenge to believe in yourself because the people around you do not believe what you're saying. And it is a process of, first of all, accepting who you are, forgiving yourself for suppressing that, forgiving yourself for not believing in yourself enough to do the things that you have to do. And that's the main reason why I've decided that, what, it doesn't really matter what people think. It doesn't really matter what people have to say. I'm going to say whatever I feel that God is asking me to say. And with that, I will be ending this video. And I want to thank everyone and anyone who watches this for taking your time and listening to me ramble a little. I'll catch you on the next video. Bye-bye.